Hi everybody, and welcome back. So in the last video we talked about two types of nouns, proper nouns and common nouns. Now we're going to look at common nouns and the two different types of common nouns we have. This is probably what you were thinking of in the last video when I talked about two types. Today we're going to look at count nouns and non-count nouns. So, to start, a count noun is a noun that we can count separately. It has a special shape, and we can say that is one. With these count nouns, because we can count them separately, there are two forms. There's a singular and a plural form. Let's look at our first example. He saw a movie yesterday. Once. Our noun is movie. But she saw two movies. Here, the noun is in its plural form. We have just added s. One movie, two movies. In our second example, there was a mouse under the chair. Here we have our singular form. And two, but now the word changes. It is not mouses. There are some nouns that are irregular, so the plural form is different. For mouse, the plural form is mice. There are two mice under the chair. Another common irregular noun is person or people. One person, but five people. So you do have to be careful with this, or these types of nouns. Now, because we have singular or plural nouns, we have to be very careful because they will take a singular or plural verb, and we have to make sure that we match them. This is where a lot of noun-verb mistakes happen, when you have a singular noun and a plural verb. This is an error. So, for example, the students, our noun, were bored. Plural noun, plural verb. But the teacher, singular noun, was excited, singular verb. The students were bored, but the teacher was excited. Make sure that they match. The last point about count nouns is that we can use a, an, or the with them. So we can use any of these articles with count nouns. Now I know articles might be a little confusing, so there is another video where we talk about articles. You can look for it. But in this example, a performer spoke to the listeners, plural. So here we're using a, here we're using the. Okay, so those are count nouns, some of the rules about count nouns. Our second type of noun is a non-count noun. And a non-count noun is something that cannot be counted separately. It means there is no special shape. We can think of this in some of the examples we'll look at. Or, another thing about non-count nouns is that there is no physical form. There's nothing that you can hold. So, some of the categories that we create are something like abstract ideas. Ideas about feelings or emotions, like courage, that feeling of being brave, or love. I feel love. I love many people, but I don't have something in my pocket. I can't show you love. There's no physical form. And the same with education. If you look in the notes, there's a link to them in the information below the video. I have more categories. I have other categories that we use. These are just some of them. Another one is activities, or what we call, our grammar term is gerunds. These are used as non-count nouns. So skiing, swimming, jogging. These act as non-count nouns. Foods or liquids. With food, it's usually the group or the category of food, a type of food. This is what is a non-count noun. So for example, corn or fish. If we're talking about the type of food or the type of meat, fish, it's a non-count noun. But sometimes these nouns are also count nouns. So if we are talking about the animal, then it's a count noun. Milk and water as a liquid. It has no specific shape. If I have a bottle, it's in this shape. But if I pour the milk or the water onto my desk, it does not stay in this bottle shape. It becomes very flat. So we cannot say, that is a water, because the shape is always changing. Another one is anything with small pieces where we will use larger quantities. So for example, something like salt. You're not going to count out each grain of salt. That would take just too much time. Sugar, rice, even something like sand. We do not think of it in very, very small pieces. We think of it in bigger amounts or bigger quantities. So we just use it as a non-count noun, because no one is going to take the time to count out each small, tiny piece. Okay. Another thing about non-count nouns is there is no plural form. There's only the one form. And because there's no plural form, it will take a singular verb or a pronoun if we use one. We'll use it. So in our example, she has a lot of courage. Courage here is our non-count noun. It is a really good part of her personality. It is the pronoun that's talking about courage, and the verb is in the singular form. She has a lot of courage. It is a really good part of her personality. Okay? And the last thing, non-count nouns cannot be counted. But sometimes we do want to count them. So how do we do it? Well, we have a little trick. And what we do is we add a count noun in front of the non-count noun. We use this form, count noun of non-count noun. So for example, maybe you are very hungry and you have 3 pieces of bread. Pieces is our count noun of bread is the non-count noun. Or you're very thirsty. Maybe you have exercised or gone to the gym and you want to drink 2 glasses of water. Again, glasses is the count noun. Water is our non-count noun. Okay, so these are count and non-count nouns. In the next video, we're going to talk a little bit about quantifiers and how we use them with nouns. I'll see you soon.